Let's bring in Karl Rove, former Deputy Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor. Karl, great to see you. I'm kind of reading the same thing that Peter was reading right there. And the way I interpret this, he's talking about an executive order that will prohibit new investment, trade, and financing by U.S. persons to and from or in the so-called DNR and LNR regions of Ukraine, which would be Luhansk and Donetsk, the breakaway regions of Ukraine. Is that strong enough, Karl? I mean, you're really putting sanctions on these breakaway regions and right now leaving Russia pretty much alone.
Yeah, no, it's not strong at all. In fact, it's laughable. This is a moment. I hope this isn't all they're going to do. I hope that they are agreeing upon a set of sanctions that they can announce that if Vladimir Putin does sign the documents recognizing this breakaway region as an independent region and committing to Russian peacekeepers, that some serious sanctions will be put in force immediately, because this is the preliminary. This is the opening act, if you will, of an invasion of Ukraine. Remember, these two regions, less than a third of those regions are now under control of the separatists. And so what the Russians are attempting to do is recognize these republics, give them additional military support, and have them, in essence, invade the Ukrainian territory to take the other two-thirds of these two states in the eastern part of Ukraine, these two regions away from the Ukrainian government, and put them under the control of Moscow. So this is a pretense to invasion, and we ought to respond strongly to it.
Yeah, and you make a very good point there, Karl, because Ukrainian army forces do control significant chunks of these two breakaway territories. I want to talk about diplomacy now. I want to play this soundbite from John Kirby and Jake Sullivan and then get your response on the other side.
We're absolutely prepared to sit down and seriously discuss with Mr. Putin a diplomatic way forward here.
We will not close the door on diplomacy. We will go the extra mile on diplomacy, but we are also prepared with our allies and partners to respond decisively.
Sure feels like that door is getting near the whole closing, Karl.
Well, at some point it probably will, and frankly, I think this is an attempt by Putin to lay what he considers to be a quasi-legal predicate for the invasion of Ukraine. This is not a, this is extraordinary measure. He's going to recognize two breakaway republics that nobody else in the world recognizes, who don't even control all of the territory, and then they're going to ask for Russian troops to come in, and the Russians will be, in essence, invading the territory of an independent country, Ukraine. And if we don't recognize that for what it is, which is an invasion, and take tough steps in response, we will see more activity on the part of Putin, not less. What he recognizes and what he responds to is strength, not weakness. And it's weak for the United States to say, "Oh, we're not going to allow anybody to invest in the eastern region of Ukraine that will shortly be under Russian control." I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and lastly, I mean, the EU sounds very much like with NATO, they are against Russia. They are, aligned and they're not budging at all. But will that last? I mean, if this thing takes another 10 days to get these troops in there, Karl, will this alliance stay intact?
I think the Russians have miscalculated. I think NATO has been strengthened by all this because they recognize the threat of Russia. Take Finland, for example, which during the entire Cold War era was assiduously neutral between the West and Russia. The leader of Finland now says that if Ukraine is invaded, Finland will consider asking for membership in NATO, because he said our orientation is toward the West, and we will condemn an invasion of Ukraine by Russia as a hostile act on an independent country. This is extraordinary, and I think a lot of European capitals are recognizing Putin for what he is, which is a thug, and they will not stand for the invasion of Ukraine. They'll see it as a threat to themselves.
Karl, we will talk to you ahead in the days coming, and we appreciate your analysis on this. Thank you, sir.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.